What is going on, guys? My name is Ty, and I have Kyle here with me as always. And we are the Weekend Warrior Disc Golf Podcast. Welcome again. We are here. You're hearing this a day late. We had a little technical issues yesterday, storms and all that good stuff, where to the point where knocked Wi-Fi out and internet and all that
Mm-hmm.
electronic stuff. So we can't control that. So we apologize, but hey, we're still here. We're still kicking. We're very excited. It is a bye week, so this episode might be a little bit shorter than normal. We do not have Writing's Corner because Writing's Corner is, we just don't do it during bye week. But yeah, we'll go through the updates of that. We'll talk about my tournament that was supposed to happen that didn't happen. We'll get to that soon. We'll talk about content updates on what Kyle is currently working on and myself, and also a little bit more disc golf news that we weren't expecting, and that's pretty much it. But before we get in, as always, we have a special sponsor ad read from Gravity Disc Golf. Gravity Disc Golf exists to exceed your out of this world expectation with unparalleled custom designs, disc, and apparel. Gravity is creating an atmosphere where disc golfers can enjoy every aspect of disc golf while blasting off in space-themed designs, no matter what you throw. Gravity has designs on almost every manufacturer and can make your game look great. They offer free shipping on orders over $75, and John includes a very nice note to each customer. Be sure to check them out at gravitydiscgolf.com to complete your bag. And let me tell you, it is out of this world. Super amazing stuff. Definitely go there. Use one of our codes to get 10% off. You can use KG10 or Ty DG10 to get 10% off. So definitely go and get your goodies because they got tons of it. So, but let's get right into it. So we are currently on a bye week, but hey, OTB Open went down and things were crazy in there. Super exciting. We'll just kind of get down into it. Won't stay into it too long because obviously we want to talk about it when Ronnie gets back. But it was electrifying. She definitely wanted to. She asked me. She's like, "Hey, make sure you put this in." So I'm doing that for her. But she said one of her favorite moments was when Ella Hansen won, how excited her disc golf friends and just people and just there truly were. It was just a cool like moment of seeing disc golf community like really be together. That special moment of her finally winning an elite tour. So yeah, it was cool. It was great. She just kept battling it out. It's bad because I always had a mentality with her. Like when I was watching her, I would always say like, "Oh, she'll play well the first round, the second round, but once that third round comes, she's gonna crumble." And
I mean,
she didn't, and she just kept up. And the other person that normally crumbles did crumble, which was Holland Hanley, which that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was electrifying. What do you thought about it?
I thought that was awesome. It's great to see her finally get her win that she's been looking for. Obviously, there's she's been itching for it because it's been so long, right? Like so many times we've seen her just fight and just barely fall short. But I mean, she did it, and she did it by a lot. So
No,
that was cool to see too.
she definitely did do that. But yeah, let's get into this kind of like a split off. So we'll talk about a little bit of FPO and a little bit of NPO. I mean, we'll just stay with FPOs. But what were some things you liked about, like, did you see anything cool about it? Do you also know anything about, oh, I forgot who it was. Was it like that one person where she like threw it OB and like a
Madison
spectator?
Walker.
Yeah.
and the diver was in the water
Yeah.
already. She went through an entire thing on the post too about like it's all right. I was clearly a bad shot. It was staying OB. It doesn't matter. He caught it. He caught it.
I think what was worse is the location of what we saw in the recording. It's realistically, people talk about the brush in the back, like even if it did skip off the water, like that thing was like pretty much like a brick wall where it was not cutting through. And if it did like do weirdly like a water skip or whatever, people explain that there was no way it was coming back, but it still had, but that angle definitely made it seem like there could have been a possibility, and it was a little too close to call where, you know, it just was a little weird. It's that weird moment. I wish I was her. The only thing that I wish was I would have pulled out the rule, because technically in the rule book, if it does say that, if a spectator does actually interfere with your flight, which technically did, even though it was out of bounds, you could take a free throw without a penalty stroke. And she didn't do that. She just took the penalty stroke.
It's weird because a lot of them don't do that though. But is that a new rule that they just implemented?
I think it's the factor of like, if like, let's say it's coming like to your ankles and you try to jump, but like your jump was delayed and it does actually hit you and it stays out of bounds, technically it's not, you didn't do it purposely. You tried to do it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, kind of like the whole. It's kind of like the whole like baseball when you get hit with a ball. Like if you try to move and it hits you still, you could walk. But sometimes if you purposely just let it hit you, sometimes could call it actually a strike as opposed to a ball, or like it doesn't give you like whatever. Same thing.
Right. I just curious because, like, I mean, that happened to, was it Ricky? It bounced off the guy's umbrella, went in bounds, but like Calvin's hit off a player and stayed out of bounds. So, and nothing was ever really used for that. So,
yeah, I think it was the factor of he literally jumped, stretched, and caught it. It wasn't coming to him. It was like he literally purposely jumped up, like his instinct, and like caught it. Like same thing with the just recently happened too during PGA, where there was a guy, one of somebody's like hit or whatever, was going to one of the spectators and just not even thinking, the kid just caught it and then he immediately like dropped it because they're like, "What are you doing?" And like he like dropped it. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And so like the person obviously called it, and it was a re-hit. So I would have done it. I would have tried to call it, and if the card mates obviously was like, "No, it's out of bounds," and I would have not fought it. Because it's just one of those weird moments. Like, I feel like if it was a little bit closer and there was a little bit more like whatever to it, I definitely think it would have been more. They would have allowed it to happen, but I'm guessing with everybody's knowledge on that area, they just were just like, it's not coming back. So
right.
And then yeah, let's move to the NPO with.
Really quick though, I gotta say, I was creeping. I almost got her up there. Miss Paige Pierce finished fifth.
She's
it is good to see though. It is good to see though. Like just continuing to climb, getting a little better. I know that we're missing a lot of people still though, so that says a lot. But it's good confidence builder.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments that a lot of people, they just start crumbling at the end. But yeah, no, it's nice seeing Paige like feel good. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it seems like she's feeling good. I laugh at her interview before. They're like, "Is Paige Pierce back?" And like to her, and she's like, "Well, I never like." How do you answer that question first off? If you're a player, like Kyle, are you back? It's like, well, I'd never really left. Like, and it's funny how she said it. She's like, I never really left. So like, I don't know what you mean by like, am I back? But if you want to say that I'm back, then like, sure. But like mentally and physically, I've always been here. It's just, I've just had bad breaks. And it's just kind of funny. Like, so people ask that question to people because it's, in reality, like that is a very weird question to ask that actual person. Like, obviously, fans or people are like, oh, is she actually back? Like mentally, like we're using it as a quote of like, oh, she was on the top and then things happened, she went to the bottom, now she's kind of slowly creeping back up to the top, so is she back in that actual position? But for her though, like in her mental mind, she never really left. It's just she's just had bad breaks. And so it was just kind of interesting that they actually asked that question to her. Because it's just like, that's like if they went to Paul Macbeth, it was just like, hey bro, are you washed? Like it's like no, like I have 6 world championships under my belt and all these other wins. It's just like, no, I'm not. It's just my mind is on other things. Like he's building courses not only here but like all over the place. And like, and you know, now he has a kid and like his just mindset's so different now. He's thinking more business as opposed to actually playing. And like it's just he's done his job. Like let the man be, or just let the man be alone. Like don't bother Paul. Don't bother Paige. Paige did what she needed to do and she's still here. She's still young. She's still good. Yeah, it would suck that she did break her leg, but she's feeling good. She'll be back. I don't think it's going to be the 100% Paige Pierce that we've seen, but definitely she's there though. You can't count her out. So
I will say though, speaking of Paul, I wasn't good there for a little bit. That round 2, I was like looking at like, oh, Paul Macbeth's going into round 2 in the lead. Ezra Adelholm in 3rd place. I was like, oh, this is tasty right now. But then of course it didn't happen. But still, it was looking good.
He's not confident in his putt, and you could tell. Like when they kept showing it, like I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he has like a monkey on his back or he just has the yips or what. I don't know. Don't know the excuse, but his putts look very shaky, and he could tell that he's getting very aggravated. So, which I mean, rightfully so. I've been there. I've been there exactly where every putt that I do, even like a 10-footer, I'm hitting ban, and I'm just like, what the F? Like, why is this happening?
It feels good though. I'd rather hit ban in a basket than when I used to putt, and that's what's been going on with me. Because since I've changed my putt, you know, I'm doing the more like everything straight at the basket motion, the wave thing, and everything else. Yeah. I'm consistently hitting my basket. Yeah. Even the circle 2 step putting and stuff like that. I'm always hitting the cage and my circle 2 putts, like the little step, the cage. I'm like, I'm gonna start hitting these, and it's gonna change everything. Oh yeah. And but it's getting there, and so me hitting the basket feels really nice at least. But you know, Paul's, like I said, he's ramping up. He really is. I know he didn't win. He didn't get the top 5 or whatever. He dropped quite a bit, but he's ramping up. Yeah. Calvin Heimberg ramping up. Back. It took him a while, but back to back, it's huge for Calvin. And Gavin Rathbun is having a hell of a year for being unsponsored and everything else, just doing things his way, just killing it out there.
My thing is this: would you? I mean, like obviously, yes, you probably would, especially if the right contract lays down on the table. Obviously, you're taking it, but at the same time, though, I really feel like not being sponsored really is motivating him, where he's doing more because he, like, if he wants to stay on tour, doing the thing that he wants to do, and actually make some sort of money, he has to make at least the top 5 to stay
Yeah.
financially like capable of doing any of this. Because I mean, like realistically, it's probably not as intense as like Brody's, but with him talking about how much he spends in the year and then also a couple other people has brought out like the receipts of like, this is what I have to pay for throughout the year. So I have to make this and then some if I even want to make money. And so it's interesting. Like, is he playing better because he has to, if he wants to stay on, or is he just feeling good? And this has always been Gavin, but we haven't been able to see it because he was injured.
See that I think is the biggest issue for Gavin is I think he was the up and comer, right? Everybody talked about how good this kid was. Like this Gavin Rathbone, like he's fantastic. He's good, a lot of power, just great putt and everything else. This kid is the next like thing, and then unfortunately got hurt. And he even admitted in an interview that his recovery took way longer than he ever intended it to. He thought it would take, and he's just now feeling good. Like, and it took him over a year, 2 years for this to finally start hitting and everything. He's finally feeling good. He's finally feeling loose. That, this is fantastic for him.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, it's just excited to see him playing well. He's just up there now. He's just constantly up there, which is funny because like I've been always picking him at the very beginning. I was like, oh, he's going to pop off. He's going to pop off. But he wasn't popping off the weeks that I pick him. And then like, obviously when I don't pick him, he's popping off. So it's just really interesting that he's making it happen, which is really cool to see. But I'm just excited for Calvin finally, taking him down. And I really do think that he's going to just kind of steamroll throughout the rest of the year. I mean, he might have some bad stops here and there, but it's not going to be too bad though.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Eagle finishing off really well.
Yep. That's a good motivational.
Nice, yeah. Especially with that new bag. That's all that matters is just seeing him play. Other news is Brody dropped a tweet saying that he's taking a little break. He's wanting to practice more and work on himself and physically and like just do some things to just really focus on whatever that is. He didn't really say, but obviously he knows what he needs to work on, and it seems like he's going to be taking it, seriously. I feel he has the potential of being a top 5 player. Like I could really see it. Like he does. He plays well. He plays, really good golf, and I could see him doing it. It's just I don't know if it's the factor of like, which is true, but yeah, he's multiply have expressed not only on his podcast but in his tweets and just in his personal life and everything of like he doesn't really need to tour. And when you have that mentality of like I don't really need to be here, you tend to not care. And like, I mean, he probably cares like the first round, but like once that first round's over and you get that mentality of like, I can't catch up, like you're not going to play well. And that's just the truth. And so I don't know if it's just that mentality of like, I don't need this. I'm just here just to do it. And that's it. And move on to the next place and sign some disc and call it done and do my podcast, which that's kind of what he wants. I don't want to talk for her, but Sarah talks about like I'm surprised he doesn't just retire playing and just focus on the business side of it. This is her saying this, running foundation, running his pod and just do the business side of things. Like and just stop playing. Like, if he doesn't really need it, like, just, live your life, enjoy your time with your wife, and just do what you need to do. So, I don't know. I just feel like he's going to, if he doesn't end up doing well or doing up to his standards in the next 2 or 3 years, he will be done. That's my
Yeah. And overall, he should. I feel like he'll be pretty dang solid.
mm-hmm.
Um, I he may need a break, like you said. Just take a break, call it a day for a little bit, and go from there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he can definitely come back though.
And then one person I want to talk about, then we can move on to the next topic, is AB. Who told him, like, who gave him some bad news this weekend? Because, like, I don't know what was going on, but AB did not seem like he was mentally there. He seemed like he was mentally checked out since round 1. Like, it seemed like this dude got some, like, the worst news ever before he teed off on hole 1. Like, he did not look like he want to be there for some reason. I mean, I could have read it wrong, but it looked like this dude got the worst news ever, and that was it. And he was out for the count. And, like, he did a little bit of things here and there, but he didn't do much because a lot of people expected him to do very well because this course played AB. Like, he should have easily been top 3. Like, you and I both had him in our top 3, I believe.
I don't think I did. I don't remember, but we'll get into
I
that.
did. Yeah, I did at least. I had him for second. I mean, I also had Burr too, which that's a whole nother topic too. But
Stupid baskets.
Stupid baskets. It's those dang spit outs, huh?
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, it's obviously OTB. It went down and was great. Congratulations, Calvin Heimberg, and congratulations as well to Ella Hansen. Super awesome, and we're just excited. By week this week, I think the next stop is Portland Open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which Eagle absolutely loves that stop. He normally does pretty well. I think last year, didn't Simon take it down?
I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It's supposed to be Kirsten Tatar's week back too, but unfortunately,
Look at that transition.
she made a post on Instagram that she will actually be missing 8 weeks of competition, unfortunately, due to a broken rib that she
It was a freak accident.
received during her home renovations, which really stinks. You take some time off updating your house and boom, you break a rib.
You're expecting to take some time off, and then you tend to do work at that time off, and then get hurt in that time off. Like, that's
4 weeks, not 8 weeks. My bad.
8. That's even worse, man. What the hell?
4 weeks.
4 weeks? Is it 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
I said 8. It's 4.
I was like, damn, dude, 2 months. I was like, that's a problem. Yeah, that's very upsetting. Obviously, for the amount of stuff that she does, she needs the break. But I know that it was a freak accident. Obviously, it was. She had to fallen off of a ladder or something.
She stumbled. She said she stumbled on she stumbled and on some items and fell. So
that fall must have been like not just the typical, like, I don't know, like breaking your ribs, you need a
Mm-hmm.
massive force for you to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just that's gonna suck because even when she does heal, like you can't do anything with the ribs. Like, because when I bruised my ribs, like I was still like technically recovered trying to play hockey, and when I was going up for my shots, I still like had a like it still hurt, like it still had that like weird side
Mm-hmm.
effect. I don't know if you've ever like bruised or broken ribs, because I know you've broken a lot of bones, but like have you ever had like any like
Not a rib injury. I've broken my arm, fractured my hand, chipped my hand.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, like you've done a
Nothing to do
lot
with
of.
my ribs though. Mm-hmm.
So now I've never broken my ribs, but I've technically bruised my ribs. And like even bruising them, like you, dude, it hurts, man. Like hurts to
Mm-hmm.
breathe. It hurts to move, especially when you're like, twisting your body. Like immediately, it just feels like somebody is just taking like some sort of like sharp object and like, stabbing you in your chest. Like it hurts. So that's going to take her a minute, even after the 4 weeks when she gets their clearance. She's not going to feel the best. So,
No.
but hopefully for speedy recovery.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited for you to come back to Tar, but definitely please take your time because we don't want you to hurt yourself even more.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Evelina is technically in the lead right now for FPO for points, which I thought was really cool. Following obviously Tatar. So, which is just crazy that it's all Europe. It's all Europe disc golfers that are on the top for FPO
We
for the
talked
point
about
system.
it 2 years ago about the European invasion, and
Yep.
it never came about. But here we are,
Nobody.
which is awesome to see. That I'm not gonna lie, like I think it's awesome.
So for the Europe Open, because we always do the US versus Europe, like match or whatever, like whatever that match is before the Europe Open.
The President's Cup thing
Yeah.
type deal, like they do in golf.
Yeah. We take in Europe this year. Is that what's happening? The only problem that I have is NPO, which if
FPO, I will say, I think the so FPO this season,
Mhm.
honestly, I think it's going to Europe. The FPO, it's definitely going to us.
You have that backwards, I think. You
So
said
the MPO is going to us.
you said FPO. I thought you said it.
FPO is going to, yeah, FPO is going to go to them, Europe.
Yeah. I think so. I do agree with that. I mean, because the only two people, depending on if they play well, the only two people that I could think of that are on the top right now for Europe could be Nicholas Antala and Jesse Niemann,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever you say his name is. Those two, if they're on point, they could technically play really well. But those are the only two that I could really think of on the top of my head currently. Well, obviously, Simon does play Europe. I forget. He does play on the Europe team.
Yes.
Because
Yes. But even that though, like I'm gonna be honest.
yeah, so technically you have Simon, Nicholas, and Jesse, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, it's gonna be really cool to see that if they are. I don't even know if they're planning on doing that, but if they are doing that, then we'll see it. So, but other than that, we'll move on to our next topic. And our next topic is my tournament that was supposed to happen last weekend, the Northwest Florida Champions Cup. It got delayed / postponed until June 29th. And the only reason why it got postponed or delayed was because there was supposedly storms coming in just thunderstorms, not severe weather, but thunderstorms. And they got spooked and decided to cancel it the day before the tournament. And we got this email saying, like, due to weather, we're canceling it. So here's my question. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty upset about this. And yes, it's not Pro Tour, get it, that's fine, it is what it is. But I know you have been a part of being a tournament director yourself. You have a ton of people around your circle, your inner circle right now, that are tournament directors, like Maverick Scott. I believe his name is Brett. I don't remember. Anyways, you have Brent. That's what it is. I knew it started with a B. And I apologize, I don't remember anybody else's name. But you have a ton of people from your community that are tournament directors that you guys obtain and stuff like that. I mean, we even did Wallen Open, or I didn't. You guys did Wallen Open, which you guys technically had storms and rain and stuff in the weather, radar technically for that tournament as well. So you guys dealt with the same thing that we just dealt with. What is the protocol, or what do you think should be the protocol for a cancellation due to weather? Because that's all it was. They did not say like anything else about anything. They just said, because of potential weather coming in, we are delaying it due to safety, which I want to add as well. Yes, it did rain/storm from 7:30 a.m. till about 11 o'clock. After around 11:15, it was clear for the entire day. Like, I'm saying, like, the clouds broke up, the sun came in, and it looked like a perfect day for the remainder of the entire day. From, let's say, noon to 9 o'clock. Like 9 p.m. So there's the little backstory on
that. So for me, obviously, like you said, what we did, we're going to keep an eye on the weather, but we're going, right? Yeah. If it's going to rain, it's going to rain. It's going to be windy, it's going to be windy. If there's lightning, obviously we're going to delay because you have to. It's part of the rules. But you go in that day prepared to play in anything.
Yeah.
And then if there's delay, well, unfortunately there's a delay. If it's like an all-day thing, then that's when you got to figure out what you got to do next. But you go into that day, so ready to play, ready to go.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like, I don't understand why they postpone it. I have no idea. Like, it's aggravating because I am okay with even the whole factor of like showing up, and let's say it's so intense for the entire like moment to the point where it's just like, this is unplayable. And like it, and if it was like, then obviously, yeah, cancel it or postpone it until later in that afternoon. But it's a typical 1 day, 2 rounds, and that's it. And it doesn't take an all day situation. Like, if we even started at 1 o'clock, we would probably finish around 5 or 6 o'clock, because normally roughly each round takes around 2.5 hours, give or take, depending on the flow. But it's always, 2.5 hours, an hour lunch, and then another 2.5 hours. So you're looking around like maybe, for the extent max, about 6-7 hours for the tournament. So if you started at 1 o'clock and it ends at 7, there's still daylight because now we're technically in summertime, so it's not getting dark until 8:30 or even 9 o'clock now. So I don't understand why it got canceled. And
Right.
because we did not have in our forecast like tornadoes or hurricane season or like anything like that. Like nothing wasn't happening. The wind, yeah, was up, but it wasn't like 80-mile-per-hour wind. It just was the typical, like 18, 20 miles per hour, which that's, to me, it just seems very standard at this point when you're playing anywhere near water. Because I mean, like even Creekcore Lake in St. Louis, when I played, like we were dealing with 18, 20 mile per wind on a daily. Like that was casual for us. And then I don't know how much Walnut is, but every single time I've played at Walnut, it's a wind tunnel. Like there's always at least,
Yeah, it's always windy.
It's always windy. Like, and it's just like that's, I don't know. I am really upset about it because it's just like I'm not upset of the factor of not able to play. Well, I mean, yeah, it sucked that we couldn't play, and I get it. It's postponed, but now it's postponed not even like next week. It's literally an entire whole nother month.
Yeah, right.
And so it's like I don't even know if I'm even free that time. Like I haven't withdrawn yet because like I really don't want to withdraw, but now I'm stuck figuring out what I want to do. So yeah, it's annoying and it's upsetting that it was like that. And I was just trying to figure out like what is the protocol or what you think should be the protocol for that. And honestly, I feel like it should be at least the day of.
And that's what usually it is. It's day of, and then you go from there.
Because the weather to me is so unpredictable. And that's the only issue that I've been having. Like this whole week, like, well, technically it was last week. All last week, every single day, it was supposed to technically storm. Some days we woke up, it was completely clear. Normal summer day, everybody went to the beach. Super beautiful day. Next day, gloomy, dark, thunderstorm, raining all day. Next day, supposedly raining, nice and clear again. It was just so spotty. And also, like, we're in Florida, so like it rains every day. So it's like I don't know what they expected. So I never, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little salty about it, and I don't understand why they didn't cancel it the day of. I rather drive the hour 15 minutes and tell me, hey, you can turn back. Like I would rather do that, and I would have been like, all right, cool, I'm okay with this. So
Yeah.
But now my first tournament is, well, not my first tournament, but now my first tournament after Walnut is June 1st, which is at my home course. So I'm definitely going to be making.
That's right, though.
I'll be making some videos for that. I'm excited just to kind of play it. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. Yeah, I haven't decided yet what I want to do, but I definitely want to create some content for that course, kind of get some things flowing for that. But yeah, that is kind of my update on tournaments season as of right now. Not really much happening. But yeah, let's move right on in. So, updates for our content creating. If you guys have any questions, again, like I said, definitely email us or comment down below what you need help with your content, because we're learning and growing as well. So last week, you guys heard us kind of go on a huge rant on some camera settings and what we do, and Kyle doing more the B-roll style creative, feel of it. So it's going to be really cool. Him implementing that for some of his stuff. But I do know you mentioned to me today on a potential video that you haven't released yet, but you're not sure if you're going to or not, or if you are, that's cool. Yeah, let's hear about like what you've done so far.
So So I don't know. It was a pretty nice evening. About 7 o'clock ish, I decided to do this. Maybe 6:30 ish or so. I decided to go out. I have the benefit, of course, of living across from the park. Loaded my car up with every single disc I owned. Get out to the field and just threw. And I threw them all together. So my small trilogy collection, threw those all together. My smaller Discmania, threw all those. Discraft, MVP, so on.
That's beautiful.
I've been I'm still trying to work out a title. Probably just field work, road to 300, because I want to consistently hit over 300.
That's good.
Obviously, I want to get to 350, but I'm just kind of trying to get a grasp of what disc flew how far with me in a single throw. Getting ideas of lengths. So like my putters, I want to get to a good 230, 250. Mid ranges, I want to get a little further than that. And then of course, fairways and drivers, I want to be able to just hit 300 consistently. Just throw it 300, we're good to go. If I can get up to 350 with my drive distant ones, then perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just, want to slowly work at that and get better at that. So I took all my stuff out there and went to town, threw them all. A couple of them hit big, but I'm not going to spill anything, but just say a majority of them still did not hit that mark. I'm stuck in that like 20 feet to 10 feet away from it.
But did you put like a significant item at the 300-foot mark, or did you have something there?
I have my rangefinder. So I set up the 2 boxes like this. I threw in between the boxes so I could range find as I threw. Honestly, what I could have done too, so I did have a tree that was aiming towards on that tree line along the creek, which I think that was like 487 feet away or something like that. So it was it's a crush to get out there, especially for someone like myself. So, but I just use my rangefinder basically to figure out if I angle it right. But the problem with the angling it the way with the poles, because I was thinking about using the poles as distant gauges. So I was gonna set it up and then measure out the poles out there, or the baseball diamond, and throw more so at a diagonal angle, not the way I was throwing. But where a whole 19's basket is kind of sloped just a little bit, I wanted to throw from flat ground.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So.
No, that's cool. No, I'm excited. So hopefully you do actually post that. It's going to be really cool seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you...
Probably will.
Did you definitively get an answer that you wanted of like which ones you like to throw better?
My furthest throwing disc was a disc I already knew, which you know which one that is. I was surprised at my furthest throwing putter. Mid ranges, yeah, like there was one disc I was actually kind of surprised I threw as far as I did. I was like, oh, okay, that hit that mark. Maybe I should look into that again. But I did throw them quite a bit for a while. Mm-hmm. But I've been throwing all. What was that?
Was there a manufacturer that you were not expecting to do well, but actually did well? I mean, you don't have to say it. Like, obviously, you could just be like, yeah, like.
Kind of. That was kind of my surprise. It was kind of my first grouping that I threw out, which you'll see in the video if I release it, which I probably will. But the first grouping of disc I threw, I was pretty surprised at.
Yeah.
Because my bag, I will say, I like for a couple of weeks I've thrown all MVP, And this past week, I've thrown nothing but Discraft. So I keep bouncing those bags back and forth.
Oh yeah, I feel that. And then one last thing. The different like plastics and molds and stuff like that. Have you found a certain type of like plastic that you prefer more? So like the one I'm talking about is like, do you like more of that premium feel, the premium plastics and stuff like that, or do you
Yeah,
like
I
more of
do.
the
But I like. So I think I like more of the. It's so weird because it depends on brand, right?
mm,
So I actually the one I was really surprised I crushed it as far as it did. Because I'm not a big fan of the plastic for some reason. I like. Well, won't say what disc I crushed, but there's a disc that it was in Champions Plastic. I was surprised I threw it as far as it did. Because I like more of the Star Plastic, the gummy plastic in that run. Where like Trilogy, I
Yeah.
more like the Lucid plastic.
yeah,
Which
that makes
is
sense.
Champion and Lucid are kind of supposed to be about the same.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I like Trilogy's Lucid more than I do Innova's Champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty good mix in there.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's exciting, dude. I'm excited to see it when it does come out. But yeah, I still need to try my box of discs that I got from Gravity, and then my other box of discs that I got from Gravity. So I have a lot of newer disc I need to try, and then also I just want to kind of like just unload my bag, just throw every single disc I have, and actually build my bag properly. So that's what I could do in the bag video, like midway through this season. That'd be nice. I could do one, but I feel like there's a lot in there that are a lot of just like fillers, just in case. But I don't want that. I want guarantee anything that I grab out of my bag. I like know exactly what I could do with it. So,
Dude, it's really hard for me to make it in the bag video because the fact that I've changed it yet again. Like I still don't know exactly what I'm gonna throw, but that's what this video was kind of helping me try to figure out. But I need to do it more than just like once each. I want to really get them out there and really see like, okay, I'm throwing this disc multiple times. How does it feel?
yeah.
And fly for me.
I want to get to the point where I have a disc for a certain shot instead of me just overusing one disc to do multiple shots.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like that's the one issue that I have, is because I have a lot of drivers that do that already, where I'm just like, oh, it's this shot. I want to use this disc, and it does exactly what I want. But the only problem is I tend to rely on it too much, where I'll go on a hole that I'm unfamiliar with, and then I just grab that disc because I'm familiar with it, and I know how it flies. But the only problem is I tend to overshoot it or undershoot it, and then I hit a tree or I hit whatever, and I don't want it to ruin that flight that my original flight had. And I'm trying to get better with that, where I focus on disc selection per shot as opposed to just grabbing my go-to disc and just throw it.
Right. I have, like, here in my course in Walnut, I have disc selection as in go-to disc on this hole. Like, I'm on this hole, I'm throwing this disc. This hole, I'm throwing it. Because I play here so much.
Yeah.
And then I also got to the point, like, okay, it's this wind. Let me change it to this one and such. So
I have it kind of, at least for Walnut I do, because out of any courses, technically, I've still played that the most out of any places I've done, even the ones in St. Louis. But yeah, I have like so how for me, like it's by like shape shot. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
if I know it's going to be a nice hyzer line, I have like 2 or 3 discs that I know that will be good. And then also it depends on like wind read. So it's like the factor of if it's a little bit windier or if it's more of a headwind, then I'll obviously disc up to this. If I don't, then I'll use this disc, and then I'll kind of fluctuate between on that, which is technically how you're supposed to do ish in a way. But I definitely want to get to the point where at least like my main course here, which is Change Dragons, and then like the one that I've been kind of now going to in Panama City, I want to like get to the point where I know like, okay, at hole 5, second shot, I'm throwing this.
Right.
Like I want that. Like I want that satisfaction of like I know what to throw. I want to think more like that. And also I want to bring this up too while we're talking about this. I was thinking about this during OTB Open, but also I was just thinking about this in general this weekend of wanting to talk about this with you because sadly I know the answer on my end and I'm not happy with this answer because this is when I know that I'm an amateur. I did do it the first round though at Walnut, and you could tell I was doing it, and it was good though. It was good. It was like I was actually doing what you're supposed to do. When you play disc golf,
Mm-hmm.
are you throwing just disc mentally? Are you just mentally just throwing the disc just to throw the disc, or are you playing golf? Are you mentally playing golf? Does that make sense?
It does.
Like, have you
I
actually
think-
like?
I think for the most part, because I'm so focused on fixing my form, that even like in a Walnut Open, I find myself throwing sometimes I guess in a tournament it's different. Yeah, no, I think no. So tournament, it's tournament. I'm grabbing this like hole 17 when I had that beautiful pure shot in there. I was like, okay, I'm grabbing my inertia because it's dead straight for me, and the gap is small. I know I can hit it. So my percentage of hitting this gap with this disc compared to this disc, I'm doing this. So tournament is 100% more golf than it is like mentally. I switch. Casual rounds, it's all throwing a disc just to throw a disc because I'm trying to home in and focus on my form. Because I had to think about it for a second, and it's like, nope. Tournaments, I play golf, and that's probably why I play so much better in tournaments, and I feel more locked in tournaments because the fact that I'm like, okay, I throw in casual rounds, I throw my putter here usually, but to make it better, I'll disc up to a mid range because the fact that I don't have to put as much on it and make sure I hit it to where I need to hit it, other than having to kind of rip it more and get a chance of me, messing that up because I'm trying to put more on it. So I might grip lock it, hold on to it too long, or do this or that, where I'm like, okay, let me just up my disc and throw it a little, instead of throwing 80% to 90% with the putter, I'm throwing 60 to 70% just ease with this because the fact that I'm like, okay, I know I can do this easier.
Yeah,
So I have to play golf in in tournament mode.
So yeah, no, I agree 100% on that, and it's a very interesting question, and I don't know of much people talking about this, and that's why I want to bring it up, especially here for the Weekend Warriors. Like, we're all amateurs. I think once you have the mentality of actually playing golf as opposed to just throwing disc, you will play better. And it's weird how to say that, and the reason why I'm saying that is because there are moments that I catch myself, which I did catch myself second round at Walnut Open. I was just throwing disc. I was throwing disc because I didn't want to be there. And I was just throwing it just to throw them. And I was, they were landing. And then I was just like, all right, my second shot, boom. Okay, third. Oh, here, I got to make this putt now. And try to make this putt, miss. And then, just, punch in and then be done. So,
Right.
But then my first round, though, I was playing golf. Like, if I wasn't confident with my shot, I just laid up and took the par. And then, I mentally was like, okay, I want to get to at least this point. If I get to that point, okay, I want to get to this point. And, I was definitely giving myself some, check marks. And I was knowing what disc I wanted to use. And before actually doing it, I was prepared of exactly what I wanted to do, and it was a whole different mental check. And I started really thinking about that, and I was like, man, there's a lot of times where we're playing disc golf, but I'm just throwing the disc. I'm not really playing the golf part. I'm only doing 50% of what the name is. I'm only throwing disc. I'm not adding the golf part. And I think if you start using more golf mentality into disc golf, you will play better, and you will have more success in playing the field, actually beating the course. And because that's the whole point is, and that's the thing is it's a whole click thing. A lot of people are probably listening right now and going well, Dotai, that's freaking obvious. You should be doing that already. But realistically, are you really doing it though? And that's why I'm bringing it up.
Being a part of the Weekend Warriors podcast and stuff like that, and talking about amateur stuff, it's something though that's a good thing to remind people about though, is you want to play the course. Stop playing against your card mates. Stop playing against the scores. Play the course. Play your game.
Yeah.
And don't worry about what's going on anywhere else. If a person on a hole that you're looking at, the 2-3 card mates pull out putters and throwing putters because they can throw putters there, and you know for a fact that you've played this hole multiple times and you can't throw a putter there, don't copy them. Play your game. If you need to throw a mid-range or even a fairway because that's what you do all the time, just do it. Just throw what you know. Don't copy your card and play the card. Play the course.
I am a victim on that. There was one tournament that I played. I see everybody grabbing putters and mid ranges, but I played it with a fairway driver, and it's just because I wanted to just kind of lob it right in, and I park it. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful shot. And I became victim. I bitched out. I saw everybody grab their putters and people grab mid ranges, and I saw the shot, and I was like, immediately I released my Raptor, and I grabbed one of my mids, and I did not do my line at all. And I really undershot the shot, and I ended up taking a bogey on that hole while everybody got pars or birdies. And I became a massive victim because I was paying attention of what my card mates was doing. And it's just, you don't do that. Just play your game. Play the game that you need to or want to. And even if they comment or say something, just do what you need to do. Because if you've been practicing that shot with a fairway driver, or even if it's just a mid-range and everybody's grabbing putters, don't think you have to do it. Just play your game and just move on. And that's what I'm realizing. And it really hit me this weekend when I was watching disc golf, but then also just in in general, I've been really hyper fixation on golf, especially because of my brother, because my brother does play golf. So I've been doing more in that world as well, because I've been exposed to it, but I never really like taken my time to really learn the game. And so as I'm implementing things with that, it's really relying as well into my disc golf, which now I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense. Like, why am I not doing this with disc golf? And like, I'm really like seeing the similarities, and
Mm-hmm.
there are differences, obviously, but there's a lot of similarities that a lot of people may not know if you don't actually play ball golf, and vice versa. There's a lot of similarities in disc golf with golfing in general. So yeah, that's the one thing that it really just kind of clicked, and I'm like, man, I need to talk to Kyle about this, because I don't know if you actually like really had a moment to think about.
Nope. I haven't really thought about it, but when you say it, it made me think for a little bit. But yeah, I think it's like I said, tournaments. I play more golf. Casuals.
Yeah.
I'm so hyper focused on form and everything else that that's all I'm thinking about when I'm throwing.
See, even casual, I'm just throwing. I'm throwing. I'm having fun. I'm just not really doing much with it. Like, I'm not really thinking. I'm not thinking like, oh, this is a par three, dividing up the course, in whatever. Like, oh, I need to at least shoot this, then shoot this just to make par. I'm not even doing any of that. Like, I'm just like, throwing, oh, 45 feet out, oh, I'm going to run this. And then, like, run it, and then it goes, like, 25 feet over the basket, and, like, trying to go for another par or whatever, then it ends up being a double bogey. Like, I'm not really paying attention. So
Right.
I never really took in time to really, like, think about that. And also, like, you could have fun and also play golf at the same time. Don't get that twisted. Anybody's
No, no,
listening, like,
yeah.
you could still play golf and have fun with it. Like, you don't have to be serious doing it. It's just the mentality of actually like thinking about doing your shots or grabbing whatever you're grabbing or whatever. Like,
For for me, um, just playing golf too, like which even casual rounds when I'm that's like my trying to break my record videos that I've done a few of.
mm,
That's me trying to play golf, right? Like, but that
yeah,
I find that also fun trying to beat my best score. Who doesn't like to go to a course and be like, okay, the best I've ever shot here is this. Can I beat it? Like that's a lot of fun too. But in order to do that, just play golf,
yeah,
and sure enough, you'll continue to grow.
yeah. And that's I need to just do that. And there's a lot of also shots where, once again, it's not even like disc selection. It's also how people throw. Like, there's a lot of times where, especially if I'm like the last person throwing, if I see the first person throw a forehand, second
Mm-hmm.
person throw a forehand, the third person throws a forehand, I'm like, well, I gotta throw a forehand. I don't want to be the oddball here. And then all of a sudden, I throw the forehand and it shanks, nose up,
Shanks.
and it goes like,
Mm-hmm.
East Jesus land on the opposite side. Like, now I'm stuck with this crappy, lie, and everybody's, parked, when I could have
Mm-hmm.
easily just grabbed one of my understable disc, add a little bit of anhyzer, let it turn a little bit, and I would have been exactly where they were. And I do it all the time. And so, yeah, I'm have the realization, and it makes me excited to go out and try it, to like really, really think golf, playing
Exactly.
just that. So, no, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. But other than that, man, like, I think that's all. Like, I think that's all we have for this week. Is there anything you want to mention before we sign out here?
No, that's really all. I think we got everything for a bye week. That's pretty solid, I would say. Yeah, you know.
So, if you guys have any cool stories, definitely email us at Weekends Warrior Disc Golf, or it's like Weekends Warriors DG at gmail.com. If not, it's in the description down below. I might have messed that up. But also, if you want to know anything about creating content or learn how to create content, definitely go down below as well. We will talk about it in the next podcast. If you have any cool stories, if you have anything you want to talk about, if there's anything cool in your community that you want to talk about, definitely hit us up. We'll definitely be doing that. I do know we have some cool things coming for like content wise, not only myself, but also Kyle. I do know in roughly 2-ish months, we're doing a family vacation, which we always do an annual disc golf tournament, which we're actually going to be in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So we definitely got to look up a course around that and like do some research and see what's around there. Obviously there is, but you know, we just got to figure it out. Other than that, we will absolutely do a video doing that because we just have to. So
their yearly thing. We always we go on vacation. Our disc golf bags are there. We find a new course to play, and it's a ton of fun. So,
and I also fund a award for the winner, which is normally just a disc of something. We talked about doing a custom one where we just keep it and pass it and somebody just has it as like a trophy.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. But normally I just get it, which I think ironically most of them I think Cody has most of them, doesn't he?
I think so, somehow. Yeah.
I think he has, which is funny because you guys have no idea who we're talking about. I mean, if you do want to see Cody play, but it's been a few years, definitely go on Kyle's channel. There's some older videos of him playing, but I'm sure he will play with us. Maybe he'll play with us. I'm not sure. I don't know if he still plays disc golf or not, but if he does play disc golf, he'll be with us, and you can definitely see him play. The dude's insane. He has a really good arm. Like, he's a great doubles, he's a great dubs partner. He throws it so far, and then you could just play you just clean it up for him. Like, you just play your short game. Like, I've always told him, I was like, dude, like, I would absolutely love for you to be my partner for like tournaments. So he just throws the 400 feet, and then I'll just do the rest. I'm just like, dude, let me just do the rest, man. But yeah, other than that, guys, I really do appreciate the support. Thank you all for joining us. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And we did do a little different style for this one. So hopefully it's good on your guys' end. We're trying to change it a little bit, making a little more high production values for you guys, because we always talk about creating content and what we do. So we're going to be trying to make sure we stay true to what we say and better ourselves as well. So you guys might see some changes here and there. Some little, it's not Easter eggs, but just something might be a little different while you're watching this. So if you guys enjoyed it, please like and comment and share. It does help us out grow. And for you guys on Spotify, thank you for listening. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.